joining us now to talk about what we saw, Louisiana Congressman and Minority Whip Steve Scalise. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. You know, we wanted to talk to you about this. We watched this, and we saw the crying in Capitol Hill by Schiff and the two Adams, Schiff and Kinzinger, one Rhino, one Democrat. And it struck me that, you know, sir, you were shot. You were on a ball field a couple years ago, and you were shot almost to death. These guys were crying because they're behind a bunch of security and some things were going on outside a door. What are your thoughts of these two clowns?
Well, Eric, it's good to be with you. And look, I wouldn't be here without the heroism and bravery of the United States Capitol Police, the Virginia law enforcement officers. You know, and one of the things, you know, we all want to support law enforcement from all walks of life, but you didn't see Democrats expressing any sympathy or support for police officers across America during the summer last year when they were being attacked, murdered, cities being burned down, civilians being attacked and murdered. They don't want to talk about that. Frankly, they don't even want to talk about Speaker Pelosi's role. There have been many questions raised. Was she weeks in advance made aware that they should have National Guard, and did she turn that down? She won't even let that be discussed in this hearing. So clearly, they made it very clear that they did not want this to be an impartial commission when they kicked Jim Jordan and Jim Banks off of it. They wanted just Speaker Pelosi's narrative. But again, some of the same Democrats that are behind this were the ones that were offering to bail out people who were burning down cities and beating up cops during the summer of love last year.
Yeah. Congressman, the Capitol Police budget is around $450 million. Now, I know they have a tough job. They got a big job, and they do a great job. I'm not taking anything away from them. I've known them. I've rubbed elbows with all of them. They're great law enforcement officers. $450 million. That's bigger than Detroit at about $330 million, and Miami, which is about $250 million. Now, there are 535 members of Congress, and then there's some staff, but where were they? Where were they on that day?
Well, look, I met with a lot of them January 7th, the day after the attacks, and I saw a lot of them were in personal confrontations, had physical scars from that day. But again, you know, you look at a lot of cities that are defunding their police, and crime is out of control. The Capitol needs to be protected, the legislative branch of government, just like the judicial and executive branch of government. But what about every city in America where you have a lot of these Democrat officials defunding their police, then they increase their own private security while they're taking away the security of regular, hardworking taxpayers? I think that's the thing that's got people so irate.
Yeah, Congressman, I want to talk about the other thing going on in Capitol Hill today. You know, there's a back and forth. Nancy Pelosi has issued a mask mandate to if you want to come into the people's house. Let's take a listen to Chip Roy on the floor of the House chamber a couple of days ago, a day and a half ago. Take a listen.
And we have people infected with COVID coming across our southern border into Texas, and you all put masks up front here on the people's house? We got to go around and see, okay, we can't come to the floor. I can't execute my constitutional duty unless I wear a mask. Well, which is it? Vaccines or masks?
Congressman, you have to wear a mask on the floor of the House. By the way, you don't have to wear one on the Senate as of now, but it's just on the floor of the House right now. But you don't have to wear a mask if you come across the southern border as an illegal migrant.
Yeah, and Eric, I share Chip's frustration because if you look at this, you know, the science is being thrown out the window a lot of times because a lot of these Democrats wanted the shutdowns last year. They wanted to keep kids out of schools, and you see some of them trying to lay the groundwork for that to happen again. That can't happen again, and frankly, the science says the kids should be in schools, and vaccinated people are protected by and large, and we should be promoting the vaccine is safe and effective, not sending mixed messages that even if you're vaccinated, if you as a citizen want to come into the United States Capitol and see your government in action, they will arrest you. Speaker Pelosi was behind an arrest order that said they'll arrest you vaccinated if you don't have a mask in the Capitol, yet you can come across our southern border illegally with COVID and no mask, and you're given free plane tickets or bus tickets to go all throughout America with COVID, spreading COVID. It's going on. They all know it. Biden supports this. This is his policy. And so the contradictions, I think, are well on display for all of America to see. This idea that somehow COVID stops at the Senate chamber, because if you're in the House chamber, Pelosi is saying you'll get arrested if you come in without a mask, but if you go in the Senate without a mask, it's fine. This is the kind of mixed messages and lunacy that is driving people nuts all across the country.
And one more soundbite I want people to hear is when Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, leader of the Republican, the GOP on the House side, pushed back on that a little bit on the mask mandate. This is how Pelosi responded to him. Take a listen.
Leader McCarthy says it's against the science. Is Kevin McCarthy a moron?
She called him a moron. Now, Congressman, what do you say to Pelosi, Speaker Pelosi, who calls the leader of your party a moron?
It's beneath the dignity of the House Speaker's position. And frankly, I think Nancy Pelosi is feeling the heat. She is a lame duck speaker. I think she knows it. She's feeling that pressure. And unfortunately, some people, when pressure's applied, they crack. She ought to apologize to Leader McCarthy. But again, it's beneath the dignity of the office to try to resort to name calling. This is not high school. We're trying to run the greatest democracy in the history of the world, and she's being led around by a bunch of socialists who want to destroy the fabric of this country. Unfortunately, they're passing a lot of really dangerous legislation. That's why we're working to take the House back next year to stop this madness.
Yep. Congressman, we're going to say thank you to you. Next time we do this, I'll get back in your office another time. We have a beautiful office. Good seeing you again, my friend.
Can't wait to see you in the People's House, but it's great being with you, Eric.
And I'm not sure I'm going to wear a mask. I think I won't. I might get arrested. Who knows? All right, going to leave it right there.
Not in my office.
Congressman, thank you so much for joining us.